Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good
Recording
morning,
in progress.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning, good morning. We are going to start with our meeting soon, but I want to ask Mandy to check for me whether we have a quorum or not.
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Chair and members and colleagues. Yes, Chair, the meeting is correcting. Only 15 members are required, and there are more than 15 members on the platform.
Okay, thank you so much. The issue of 15 members, I still remember the chief whip was asking about this little number to say multi-party embraces all women in parliament, but the number is too small. But I think in our legacy report, we're going to indicate maybe there will be some changes come the 7th parliament. That's my wish, because the number really is too small. We cannot talk about 15 members while we are talking about more than 100 women. So 15 is too little. It's too little. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are to start with our meeting now. Can you please flag the agenda?
Yes, Chair, it's flagged.
No, I can't see it on my side.
Okay, Chair, I will stop sharing and then I'll share again.
Yes, now I can see it. Good morning, everyone. The agenda has been flagged. It's opening and welcome. Then the apologies. Then the progress report on establishing a cooperative bank for women, youth, and persons with disabilities by the Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities. Then the discussion, followed by the briefing on the current legal and regulatory framework governing the taxation of deceased estate on inheritance and the financial impact on women or widows by National Treasury, then the discussion and the closure. Thank you very much. We are now starting with our program. Honorable members, can I get somebody to move for the adoption of this agenda? I see two hands, Honorable Mananiso and Honorable Hermans. Honorable Mananiso.
Thank you, Chairperson, and let me greet everyone on the platform. Honorable members, I move for the adoption of the agenda as tabled. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mananiso. Honorable Hermans.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to everyone on the platform. I second the adoption of the agenda as tabled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Honorable members, the agenda has been adopted and seconded. Today is Thursday. This is a very nice day. This is the day that the Lord has made. We need to rejoice on it. And it is the day that comes before a day that we are to celebrate International Women's Day, where we are to renew our collective commitment in achieving gender equality. This year, we are to invest in women, to accelerate progress made. And the question comes, what is it that we are to celebrate as this collective? Is there any lives that we have really changed? How many women and children that we can say we are celebrating and really we did change their lives vis-a-vis the lives that we destroyed or the lives that we have killed. The theme for International Women's Day this year is Invest in Women, where we are saying we're going to accelerate the progress aimed at tackling economic disempowerment. And also we are to inspire inclusion. I take women as the hope of our families. And I understand women as the hope of our society. When we are united, we can move mountains. We can eliminate GBVF. We can eliminate the abduction of women and children. We can eliminate all sorts of ills that we experience in our daily lives. Honorable members, soon we'll be going for elections. Let's go all out and make sure that as women from different political parties, we put effort on achieving 50-50 split of gender representation in parliament, meaning the national parliament and the provincial legislatures. Lastly, I want to commend the president of our country, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, and the Minister of International Relations, Honorable Naledi Pandor, who led the country from the front in support of the Palestinian. We are proud of the position our government has taken in holding transgression to account. With these few words, honorable members, you are welcome. We also welcome the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability that are going to brief us today as to how far have they gone with the FIC. We also welcome National Treasury. With these few words, honorable members, I welcome everyone. Thank you very much. We may now proceed. Mandy, the agenda is not yet there. I only see honorable member in my screen. Thank you very much. Do we have apologies?
Yes, Chair, we received 6 apologies. That is from Dr. Dlamini Zuma, Minister Zulu, Ms. Maseko Jele, Minister Kivit, Ms. Visser, Riet, and Christians and Boshoff. Chair, Ms. Maseko Jele is on the platform, but she will log off before 11 due to a flight that she needs to be on.
Okay, no, thank you very much. Honorable members, we heard that we only have 6 apologies. And I do believe that the 6 apologies are not going to affect our meeting. But I want to encourage honorable members that we need to attend to this so that the decision that we take as women, the decision that we are to take as women binds every one of us. And it's good for each and everyone to have a bite in each and every meeting in order to say, or in order to own up our legacy report at the end of the day. Thank you very much. I'm now going to invite the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability for them to give us the progress report on establishing a cooperative bank for women, youth and persons with disability. Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability, I heard that the minister is not around with us. I'm not so sure whether the DM is here on the platform. Can I be advised if the DM is here with us?
Chair, it's the DG that is there. Yeah. DG Shabalala.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair. Again, you are speaking to DDG Shoki Shabalala. Let me just open my camera quickly. This is DDG Shoki Chairperson. My apologies, Chair. I'm struggling with connection where I am. I'm actually in another SADC session. And yeah, it's not easy to use the facilities here. So if I keep on waning in terms of connectivity, it's because of the environment here. But I am here representing the department. I'm also accompanied, Chair, through your permission, by the Chief Director, Mr. Prince Boy, as well as Ms. Anna Mguni, the Director responsible for the program. And also in our midst, Chairperson, we are accompanied by the Chairperson of the CFI, Ms. Tsepiso. I think it's Khanyago, the surname, Khapola, Ms. Tsepiso Khapola, as well as Natasha Malate, who is the Secretary General of the Interim Steering Committee. Chair, they will be leading the presentation, and we will request that through you, they be afforded the opportunity to take us through the presentation, Chairperson, if it's permissible. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DDG. Tsepiso, since you are the one who will be leading in the presentation, it's your time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning to honorable members, to Chairperson. Thank you for this time, affording SAFES the opportunity to come and present. My name is Tsepiso Ngobeni. I'm the Chairperson of SAFES, and with my team, I have the Secretary General with me. Online, it's Natasha Maladze. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I will go straight to the presentation, Chair. The purpose of this meeting today, Chair, is to honor an invitation to brief the Multi-Party Women's Caucus on the establishment of the CFI and SAFES. Our background, Chair, the department commissioned the Cooperatives Bank Development Agency, the CBDA, to develop a concept paper that will provide information on how to register a women-owned cooperative banking institution. And this they did to advance, the financial inclusion of women, youth, and persons with disabilities and their businesses and cooperatives. The coordination will contribute towards ensuring that women take control of their own financial destinies and free themselves from GBV. Now, the coordination and facilitation of the Cooperative Banking Institute, the crystallization of the concept took place on the 18th of April, with different stakeholders. And from there, a draft proposal by CBDA was submitted on the 21st of April, and on the 27th, it was then submitted to the Minister for approval. Awareness campaigns were held on the 22nd of June 2023, and these consisted of public and private organizations targeting women, youth, and persons with disabilities, with close to about 200 attendees online. These were done online. And the survey showed that people's interest with establishment of this Cooperative Banking Institute was about 82% were for the idea and about 4% were not for the idea. Now, coming through to our minimum requirements from the Prudential Authority, Chair, on establishing this type of cooperative bank, a CBI, a CFI. The minimum is that you have to have a common bond, and with us, Chair, as SAFEs, our common bond is very associational. There's three types of common bonds. Ours is associational, meaning that we can only draw membership from associations. So members who would like to become members of the public who would like to become members or shareholders in the bank must also belong to an association, because that's our common bond. We have to have 100% share capital. There has to be 200 members as a minimum. So both natural and juristic persons can be members. They must demonstrate, the CFI must demonstrate it has the financial, operational, and human capacity to operate as a CFI. And then the PA takes into account the nature, the size, the scale, and activities as recognized as CFI as a startup entity. Now, for us to become a cooperative bank, on the other hand, the share capital is the same, the membership is the same. The difference is that we must now have a 5 million member deposits into the bank for us to now be called a cooperative bank. Before then, with the 100,000 share capital only, we can register as a CFI. The Prudential Authority has a higher standard and expectation for establishing a cooperative bank. Next, with SAFEs, our target is actually within those rural areas. For us as a bank that is aimed at women, youth, and persons with disabilities, we're quite passionate about leaving no one behind. We want to go to the rural of the rural areas, the farthest of the farthest places, and as well as within the metros, of course, but we would like to target these rural areas, women and youth and people with disabilities who would not otherwise have the opportunity to then be part of such a initiative. CBDA mobilized, and participated in Women's Month events. Women in agriculture, mining, tourism, ICT, construction, and energy showed an interest to participate in the CFI, and follow-up was being made. Consultative meetings to nominate 15-member interim steering committee from diverse sectors and skills ranging from business, legal, finance, stakeholder relations, and civil society to serve as a management team that was successfully held online on the 18th of August, 2023. A formal launch, Chair, will be proposed by the Minister, and that application has already been submitted to the PA. There has been consultation with the DPSA to seek clarity if government officials can form part of the CFI. And the response to that was that, no employee, according to the Public Services Act of 1994, shall perform and engage herself or himself to perform remunerative work outside of his or employment in the relevant department, except with the written permission of the executive authority of the department. If it's confirmed that the proposed institution does not intend to conduct business with the state, employees should seek and receive permission from their relevant executive authority. A submission to the Minister was then submitted to seek for employees within the department who are interested to be part of the CFI, and that has been approved. And then a DG letter following that, a DG letter was submitted to the Department of Small Business and Development to seek collaboration with regards to nominating officials to serve on the task team, as well as exploring financial support. And with the CBDA as well, a session was held to establish an interim steering committee on the 18th of August, 2023. And of course, all of this was happening within the guidance of the CBDA. Now, a resolution following that meeting on the 18th of August was taken to register a cooperative banking institution. An interim steering committee at the time comprising of 15 members coming from 6 associations, 12 individuals, 3 of which came from government departments. An interim steering committee process was at an advanced stage in terms of submitting that application to the PA. The steering committee was then inducted on the 24th of August, wherein roles and responsibilities, the legislative framework, the collation of the 100K and the 200-member mobilization were then discussed in that meeting. Following that, an application through the CBDA, the assistance was then collated and it was submitted to the PA on the 31st of August. A status update since that meeting in August. The proposed name was the South African Innovative Financial Services Cooperative. At this point, we were advised we cannot use the word cooperative bank because of the reasons I've outlined before. So we are a financial services cooperative. Currently, the board consists of 13 members. We come from a diverse background. This includes youth, women, and persons living with disabilities. The first phase, the virtual meeting with the Prudential Authority, was held on the 4th of December, wherein we presented our business case. And on the 3rd of January, we were able to successfully submit our package, our application package. Now, the application package, in keeping with the regulatory standards for the PA, included all our supporting documents, such as our constitution, our member register file, our bank statements, our policies, and business plan. The CBDA has been very crucial in all of this, as they have given support, they've given direction in terms of us then successfully submitting. And we are just waiting right now for the PA to vet, for their vetting process, and for us to ultimately then receive our license. And as of February 29th, Chair, honorable members, we have 461 members, and our bank balance at the moment is 278,698 rand 85 cents. This is in cash deposits, member deposits, members who have bought shares within the bank, the CFI, excuse me. We have solidified right now partnerships with 4 associations. However, we do have membership from 9 or more associations because every day we're still taking memberships. Each individual member pays a fee of 500, and if it's an entity, they pay 1,000, and both with a non-refundable 100 rand administration fee. Chair, we've also established 5 subcommittees. We've got an education subcommittee that looks at our education part of the CFI, where we try and educate as many women, as many youth, as persons with disabilities on financial education, making sure that they know about their rights in terms of financial inclusion. So that's the education subcommittee. Our marketing subcommittee, looks at our data policies. We've actually have a communique that went out. They were responsible for that to our members, telling our members where we are, what's happening. We've also, the marketing team has already done a pamphlet to try and get to recruit as many associations as we can. We've also got an investment. We've got a credit committee. Those are headed by our treasurer, who then looks at our finances, making sure that as a CFI, our finances are are on track. We've got a compliance and risk subcommittee as well that is also headed by a legal person within the board, within our team, that looks at making sure that regulatory standards are being complied to. Recently, we've updated our application form that is now compliant with regulatory standards, and it's been circulated to our members. It also goes with a KYC form, what we call a KYC form, and Know Your Customer form, as well to our customers, so that we know who they are, we know where they get their funding from, as we try and make sure that we meet these regulatory standards. Chair, 3 SAFES members have recently enrolled in a 6-month online UJ in CETAP cohort for the CFI program. This is in line with us as a board, making sure that we try and attend and make sure that all our members, where we can, are educated and they take advantage of opportunities that are out there in order for us to make sure that we run a successful CFI. The first formal communique was distributed on the 12th of February to our registered members. So as it stands, all our associations, through our associations, our members know what is happening with SAFES, since they have become members since August of last year. The executive committee chair, we've also attended a 5-day CBI Indaba at Sun City from the 19th to the 14th of December. That was hosted by CBDA. In terms of statistics, we've actually got Gauteng, we've got 49 members, the Western Cape, 36 members, Eastern Cape, 12 members, Northwest, 19 members, Mpumalanga, 55 members, KZN, 93 members, the Northern Cape, we've got 21 members, Free State, 21 members as well, and Limpopo, we've got 95 members. These numbers, Chair, reflect the work that SAFES with the department, with CBDA, has done so far in terms of recruitment. We do understand, these numbers are quite low, and our target is really limitless. We want to have to see these statistics grow, and this we will do through, a vigorous recruitment strategy that we would embark on as soon as we're able to get our license, and as soon as we launch the bank. Of those, women are 439 members, persons with disabilities, we've got 3 members, youth, we've got 19 members, and there are currently about 16 members whose names and IDs, we haven't allocated them to provinces, as we still have their outstanding supporting documents. Like I said, with the KYC form, we try and make sure that we receive documents so that we know who is banking with us, who's giving us money, who's buying our products, in order for us to meet our regulatory standards. Our implementation plan, members, honorable members and chair, it's as follows. We've already submitted our business plan. The response from the Prudential Authority, we've already received that initial response, and we've worked on the things that we've been advised to work on. Our plan was also that in January, we will have a ministerial launch of the Cooperative Bank, of the CFI, awareness campaigns to further recruit and finalize the registration with the CIPC from October onwards, development and establishment of the operating systems, our people, systems and processes. We planned that for January 2024, and to commence with operations in July of 2024. From July of 2024 onwards, our enterprising operations, we've already developed savings and investment got about 4 savings products that we've already developed and 4 credit products. So we're hoping to then start with those products going forward. In terms of continuous matters, Chair, it's regards to compliance, monitoring and evaluation, making sure that as SAFEs we operate. We know this is a highly regulated space, and we want to operate within that space with dignity, with honesty, and so those are form part of our governance, our risk managements and audits, and our dividends issue in terms of that, period will be determined. SAFE's growth and evaluation, re-evaluation of our balance sheet and activities and strengthening of our product offerings. We will do that in December of 2024 when we then look back at what we have accomplished. And with that, that is my presentation, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tsepiso. Is there any additions before I give the opportunity to the honorable members? From the department, is there any additions?
Chairperson, on our side, we are covered by the presentation of the chairperson. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DDG. Honorable members, that was the presentation or the progress report on establishing a cooperative bank for women, youth, and persons with disability. Can we engage the report? Can I get hands that want to engage? I see the hand of Mahlengwa.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me greet the department and the women's. Thank you for the comprehensive report. Mine is not to engage, actually report, but seeking clarity that I have a concern of the information that is the cascaded of this information. Is it enough? Is it go deeper to the rural areas and to the group concerned? Because if we look at our department is concerning women, youth, and persons with disability. But now my concern, Chairperson, is that is it enough as information to those groups who are targeted by the department, or the department was just an umbrella body to cover everybody, not targeting this women, youth, and person with disability? And also worried me that if it goes to the groups or cooperatives, what about the individuals, or what about those who are working as a group or who are sitting as a group but not registered as a group, as a cooperative? Is there information goes to them what they should do? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mahlengwa. I believe the department and the steering committee are noting the question as raised by honorable members. Honorable Matuba.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to all members who are in this platform and to our presenters, Chair. The first point that one may want to engage on, Chair, before the presentation itself, it's the issue of information. For this presentation, how are we share? We can be provided with the copies of the presentation. Some of us have joined late because we have received the link very late. Yes, we were able to hear from here and there in the presentation, but one will be able to really engage, Chair. And safe to say that I agree with what Honorable Member Hlengwa has just alluded on. Chair, if we can have enough information on publicizing this there's a cooperative that we are busy working on, and if it can be publicized as much as possible, because one believes that this is a tool that will be able to empower women throughout the country. And I don't think that even for an ordinary woman who is in a rural area, there's going to be a difficulty for her to say 500 so that she can be a member of this institution, the cooperative itself. And also, Chair, I'm not quite sure on how do they communicate, which channels are they using, and one maybe will encourage that they use different media platforms, including the old one which was used, which is the radio, so that everybody can benefit from information that is being presented to us here in this platform in Parliament. And maybe in terms of their communication, they must just simplify as much as they can, because in many times what becomes a problem to many of our women is a language barrier. And one is also very cognizant of the fact that this bank also, the cooperative itself, it has taken a position of empowering women through education, and women and youth and people with disability, which is something that one thinks that it's something that we lack in South Africa. And when you look at even the illiteracy stats level in our country, and where is the position of women and young people also in our country, one would say that much still needs to be done, and one is very much appreciative of the fact. And Chair, I also have a question towards the presenters. My question is on the basis of those who are in public, who are in public service. I think if they can fast track that one as soon as possible, but also look at the possibility of not leaving people behind, anyone behind. And if they are to participate, let it be clear rules, let it be a clear procedure on what is expected to them, what could be the limitations in terms of their participation. And I believe that they will still want to do business with state. And if really you want to exclude yourself from that particular process, I don't think we'll then be able to reach our objective. Yes, we can, but not on a greater scale that we may want to be to reach the process. And also, if one may check, I know that some members of the committee are being vetted. What is their anticipation in terms of this period? How long will it take for them to finalize the process of vetting? And really appreciate the work that they are doing, and really appreciate the report that is being presented today, Chairperson, is straightforward and very clear. And if all of us can have all the knowledge and can be briefed properly, I think we'll be those people who will go out and begin to popularize and assist, because we see this as a tool of emancipating our women in South Africa. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Matuba. Any other comment or clarity seeking questions from honorable members? Any other comments? If not, then I will give the opportunity to Tsepiso or the department to respond on the issues that has been raised by the two honorable members.
Chair, can I raise the question? Sorry.
Come again.
Gomba. It's Melina Gomba. Would like to get
Oh,
clarity.
I didn't see your hand. Thank you. Honorable Gomba.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity, Honorable Chair. Chair, I think this is not the first time we receive a presentation with regards to the investment towards the Women Bank. I'm not sure, because there was once a presentation. I'm not sure if it's coming from the same team that is presenting to us today. But the presentation was talking about the bank, Women Bank, where women will be shareholders, and there's a board of directors. Now, today we are talking about a cooperative, and those are two different structures altogether legally. So I want clarity also coming to that point as to whether it's the same presentation or the same organization that was presenting the previous meeting with regards to Women Bank, or this one that is talking about the cooperative is a different organization, or the different ideas. So I'm just a bit confused there, Honorable Chair. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Gomba. If you remember well, we said they must come back and present. They did present as the department, and we said we want them to come back and clarify more for us to understand. So this is the opportunity. They are coming back to present to us. And I think they will explain further, but they said instead of saying it's a bank, they've been advised to say it's a service, financial service cooperative.
CFI.
But they will respond. They will respond into that. Any other hand, members? Without any hand, let me give back to the department. DDG?
Thank you, Chairperson. The member, I think it's Member Matuba, indicated that she came a bit late. That is noted, member. But I wish to indicate, Chairperson, that in her presentation, the Chairperson, she had indicated that they will be working on their communication strategy, or they are working on that communication strategy, which will be broad enough to include all media platforms, from social media, radio, electronic media, and also reach out to the various associations and structures and women, including, even if it means finding a way of reaching out to women individually. She also mentioned that they will capitalize on the launch day. The sooner the CFI gets registered or issued with a license, that is when they will then embark on this massive recruitment drive, and also making sure that they reach out to rural communities. She did mention that leaving no one behind, acknowledging and noting that women are not a homogeneous group, and therefore they will be targeted in their diversity. So all of those, Chairperson, will be explored and will be utilized. I will therefore request the chairperson to address Member Melina Gomba's question around the issue of the CFI, which is the corporate financial institution versus the bank itself. I hope this explanation suffices, Chair. If there's more clarity required, we will step in, assisted by the chairperson.
Are you done, DDG? The issue raised by Mahlengwa
The issues raised by
concerning
Mahlengwa,
the awareness.
hence I'm saying, Chair, the communication strategy is the one that will look at all the various media products that will be utilized. But where there is no like internet stuff and all, the radio will be utilized, reaching out to the chiefs, Amakosi, and making sure that the women, there's a pamphlet that they also developed. I propose, if it's permissible through you, Chairperson, that perhaps that pamphlet be shared through the department to yourselves. Let's see how we can find a way of producing more in supporting them so that that pamphlets get distributed. But I think we want to underscore the issue that once it is licensed, which is what we are all pushing for, we are waiting for the Prudential Authority to give us that. But Prudential Authority is still going through a rigorous vetting process. We've been asking, we are getting weekly progress reports from the Interim Steering Committee. They too are making follow-ups on a weekly basis, but because it's so rigorous and stringent, they can hardly give us a timeline, and this is not the only bank that they are dealing with, but we don't give them space. Every week, we are on their case to say how far. The sooner the license is issued, the better for all of us. Then we have much more power and credibility to run with this thing. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think the issue of pamphlet, DDG, women will love to have them, since we do have the interest in changing the lives of our women out there. Thank you very much. Any other follow-ups or any other issues to be raised with the department?
Chair.
Yes, I see Honorable Maseko Jele.
Okay, can I come in?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Followed by Honorable Thembekwane.
My only question is that term directed to the department and
sorry,
the
Honorable
leadership.
Honorable
Want to find out one
Honorable
thing. Within these 5
Majake.
years that we have started here,
Honorable
is there any
Masiko
progress
Jele.
made in what we are trying
Honorable
to do?
Masiko Jele.
I'm not trying to, it's not a question that is questioning what is happening, but I would appreciate if maybe we can be given, if even if not today, if we can be given a report that says there is progress, we are winning this battle. This is where we are. We are coming from this point, and then we are at point B. And what is it that we have achieved up to this far? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Masiko, Masiko Jele, I was trying to stop you because there was a background that was coming. I failed to get some of the issues that you raised. I don't know whether the department, they managed to get everything. There was a sound. There were people talking behind you or something. I don't know, but there was
Chair, I'm right in the flight. It was the last question, so I can't even speak properly. If maybe they did not hear me, I'll find maybe the next meeting and also raise it.
Maseko is at the airport. The background is from Maseko because she's at the airport. It's not us.
Okay.
It is her.
Okay, Chief, thank you. Thank you very much. I see the hand of Honorable Thembekwane.
Thank you, Chairperson. I just want to ask one question to say, when and how will we be involved? Will we be informed to pay our whether it's subscription fee of shareholder into this bank? Because I think every woman here is interested on being a shareholder. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other hand?
Chair, Meoho, my follow-up question,
Oh,
Chair.
I thought maybe it's a legacy hand. Honorable
No,
Minof?
it's not a legacy hand, Chair. In terms of vetting, I have clarity with regards to the vetting, but I don't have clarity with regards to the public servants. Are they allowed to participate in the shareholding of the bank, especially women, youth, and people with disability? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I think the two issues raised, the one of members to participate as shareholders and also the public servant. Any other hand before I give to the department? DDG, you may respond to the issues raised.
Okay. Chair, I think somewhere in the slide reference was made to the fact that we had written to DPSA. We sought clarity as to whether the government officials, or particularly in the department, can be members of the CFI, and the response was to the affirmative. Maybe the chairperson, if that part is not removed, it can be reflected again. And we subsequently made a submission to the minister and requested for approval in this regard, which it got endorsed, because they are not going to trade with the state. It's their money that they will be depositing into the bank. And yeah, that's how it was understood. But if there are any areas of concerns or red flags members can highlight, we'll further make a follow-up. But we did attempt to get clarity and approval in this regard, Chairperson. I am with my colleague, Mr. Boye. He can also assist on this one. And the Chairperson will also respond on the other issues that were asked by the members. Just don't know which one was it in particular. But Chairperson can also come in. I think it was the question, Chair, of how soon can they start depositing. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much. Mr. Boy, is there any other additions?
Yes, thank you, Chair. With regards to, there was a question of when we anticipate the vetting process to be complete. We are anticipating, in terms of anticipation, we're anticipating that PA will give us feedback in April, at least in terms of the completion of our application. However, we are in constant communication with them. As soon as there's something that they need us to work on, they do give us feedback. In terms of membership, Chair, members are welcome to buy shares within the bank anytime. However, it is, as we stated, Chair, that because our common bond is that of our associational, when members do buy shares, then they have to do it through an association. So they have to be a member of an association. Right now, our marketing team is working on making sure that as many of the pamphlets that we've done, as much of the information that we've developed goes out to all corners of the globe, and we will be sharing that as well with the department so that they can help us with that. But membership is open anytime. However, it has to be through associations. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, do we still have questions to raise with the department or not? Dr. Tembekwe.
Yes, my hand
is your hand up.
Yes,
Okay.
Chair. It's still not clear enough. Now the response, the latest response, the last response says we should affiliate to an association. That complicates now our matters. We are members of parliament here. So then it means we are not allowed to do that. Can they clarify us on this matter and exclude us from belonging to an association and make us a different group altogether, which is allowed to affiliate or be shareholders to the bank, please?
Thank you. Honorable Matuba.
Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. You will pardon me. I'm very much slow. I'm a slow learner sometimes. This is what I want to check with the bank. Now that they are saying that women must join through their associations, and there is a part through their slide. I don't have a slide number. I don't have the presentation. But this is the little that I can remember from the slide, that individual members are accepted, and they pay a fee of 500 rand. And what is happening? I need clarity. Maybe if I can be clarified on that specific item, I can rest, Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I think the issue of the presentation, it has been forwarded yesterday. If something is not there, I think the Mandy will communicate with the department and will send it to all members. Thank you. Chair Tsepiso, can you respond?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, perhaps just to clarify, I think, when we started with the presentation, we did mention that remember there's three ways in which you are able to register a CFI or a cooperative bank, and that's the fact that you have to have a common bond. So within those three types of common bonds, SAFE's common bond is associational, meaning not individuals can join as individuals, but only through associations. So what we try and do now within our recruitment processes is that if we do find that Tsepiso is an individual but has interest in joining the bank, what we do advise Tsepiso to do is to find an association. So because our common bond is associational, what we have tried to do within our application is to say anybody who belongs to an association, a forum, a cooperative, any associations that services women, youth, and persons with disabilities, any type of association or forum or cooperative that deals and services women, youth, and persons with disabilities, then we would then channel those people, depending on who they are, to those associations. If it's a businesswoman, for instance, we would then channel them to an association that deals with businesswomen. If it's a youth in business, we would then say, find an association or a forum, or a cooperative that deals with that. So at the moment, that's the unfortunate part, that within this common bond that we have used as an application to the PA, we cannot stray from that or make any exceptions. If you are a member of an association, a forum, or cooperative, you're more than welcome. However, if you do not form part of, if you're not you're not in any association or forum or cooperative, then what we try to do as SAFEs is say, channel you to a specific or any other forum or association or cooperative that would then appeal to you and what it is that you are doing. For instance, if we have a woman who is in agriculture, it's easy because we already have WAD, we already have YAD. So we would then say, WAD, YAD, here's a woman who's in agriculture. Won't you then incorporate them into your association so that they can then be members of SAFEs? So this is how we are trying to make sure that we leave no one behind. Thank you, Chair.
Oh, thank you very much. It seems as if there is no other hand. But Tsepiso, on the issue of statistics that you have you posted here for us, the one of provinces. I've seen that other provinces has got very, very, very low numbers. For instance, the issue of the province of the Eastern Cape, where there are 12 members, and Northwest is 19, Free State is 21, Gauteng 49. I've seen Limpopo and KZN, which is around 90 or above 90. So with these numbers like the Eastern Cape, what is the challenge there? Are the people around there not in association, or they didn't want to form part of the CFI? What is happening? What makes that number so little, unlike to other provinces? Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, to answer that, like I've mentioned, the fact that, members can only become members when they belong to associations. Now, the numbers that you see in terms of our statistics is mostly numbers that come from the associations that I've already mentioned in the report. Those associations that have come through and said, yes, we will form part of your cooperative, and also our members will form part of the cooperative. Now, what happens is that with associations, we, in terms of our due diligence and making sure that there's alignment to the PA's requirements, those associations themselves have to become members. So the association in itself have to give us their constitution. They have to prove that they serve these constituents of women or youth or persons with disabilities, because those are the groups that are eligible to join. So you will find now that within each and every province, I mean, if you look at Gauteng, there's no way that Gauteng can be 49, Chair. As soon as people know about this opportunity, for instance, we know that our numbers are going to go up. So what happened is that within these provinces, these are numbers that we have received from associations. Hence, our plan to have a vigorous recruitment drive where we up these numbers. I see the Eastern Cape, yes, is the lowest, but we want all of these provinces, Chair. We want all of these women, because remember, numbers, statistics are just statistics. But what SAFES is about the people. So it means for us, having 439 members, that's just 439 women and youth and persons with disabilities. It doesn't even begin to touch the numbers that as SAFES we want to have on our books, people being shareholders, now taking part within for their own financial well-being. So that is as low numbers that we want to see. So with our vigorous campaign that we already, like we said, Chair, we are busy. Our marketing subcommittee is busy with it, because we want to increase numbers everywhere. We want to see in the thousands, Chair, of women and youth and persons with disabilities being reached through this initiative. So it's just a reflection of association that we currently have. And like I said, we only have 9 associations. So, and from some of the associations, you will find, like with the associations of persons with disabilities, it is the National Association, the National Albinism Task Force. This is where we have, just one member. And we know with the National Albinism Task Force, we can get many, many more, but we have to do it through our recruitment drive. We have one from the LA2, Chisera Home for the Disabled. It's just one member. If we can have as many members as we can from those, then we will increase our numbers for each and every province. But for us to do that, Chair, we need to have a recruitment drive that targets all these areas. We need to increase the numbers. So yes, it's just a reflection of the associations we have at the moment, Chair. But rest assured, these numbers will look different. As soon as we get our license, you will see us fly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I'm just checking for the last time before I release them if there is something that we still want to understand or to get clarity on. Oh, the Chief Whip.
Thank you very much,
Yes,
the Chair, all honorable members present here, the departments present. Chair, I'm following up on Doc Tlajopai. I think I heard the presenter saying, if you are not in an association, you come as an individual, you are not welcome. So it therefore means members of parliament who are individual members of parliament, therefore we cannot participate, not unless we are part of association. Is that a correct understanding? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. Sepiso?
Yes.
Can you clarify the issue of us as members of parliament coming as an individual, not from the association? Are we allowed or we're excluded? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know we want all of you within our bank. We need your your business. We need you to be shareholders. However, we are bound by regulation. We are bound by rules of the PA. And for that reason, Chair, I would really want to advise that as members, we find associations or any forum or any cooperative that as members you can belong to, so that you can then form part of us as SAFEs, Chair. At this moment, we cannot make, like I said, exception because we are bound by our common bond. It's associational. Otherwise, we would, we could possibly lose our license before we even get it if we don't comply with the rules of the Prudential Authority, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Sepiso. I just want to make a follow-up on this. You said members of the public or from the public service, they are allowed. You asked the permission from the minister and you did receive the approval. Is it correct?
Chair, I think the explanation is that we received approval for public service members to be able to be members within the bank. Yes. So which means I think the department would be able to give us more insight in terms of that. Remember the permission that was sought from the minister. Apparently it was given, but in terms of the regulations in terms of that, I think that's what Shoki was saying, that they will clarify. They still need to clarify the terms and conditions of public servants then being part of SAFEs. However, in terms of them taking part, yes, permission has been given. So I think maybe the department can clarify some more on that.
No, thank you, Sepiso. DDG.
Chairperson.
Can I also, on behalf of the caucus, say, can you please go and seek information from the minister if it's not allowed or it's not permissible by law that members of the parliamentarians can form part of the CIF. Because to me, I don't know, maybe I'm too jealous. I don't think it makes sense if the public servant are allowed or they've been given permission, but these people decide they are not. As politicians, we serve in parliament 5 years. After 5 years, you are not guaranteed that you'll go back to parliament or you'll come back and start doing something else. For instance, we are now towards the end of the term. What about if there are members that won't come back to parliament and they will be excluded? I don't know, but I'm saying, can't you go and sit with the minister and see if there are no, by chance, that members or the parliamentarians can also be afforded an opportunity to form part of this CFI. Thank you very much.
Noted, Chairperson. We will actually facilitate a session with the chair and the minister, and we will find a way of getting clarity and revert. But before we could even talk whether the officials are members of associations or what, we first needed to get clarity if they can participate in this initiative. So the rest came after to say this is actually the common bond and also I guess even if Shoki Shabalala wants to be, we'll have to go also as guided by the interim steering committee to say this is what the common bond is saying and this is what you need to do. But nonetheless, Chair, let me not conclude on this matter. Let me heed to your call, take it back to the department, including the CFI Steering Interim Committee. If it's something that they will have to take back even to the Prudential Authority, we will discuss in that meeting as to how best do we find more information that we can bring forward to yourselves as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DDG. Honorable members, can I release the department?
Yes,
sorry, Chair. Sorry,
now.
Chair. I see the hand of the chairperson. I don't know whether it's an old hand or new hand. Let me not close her out. Through you, Chair.
Oh, it's a bit, okay.
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to give some clarity in terms of membership, Chair. Members are welcome to contact, especially our secretariat, as I have already reported. You know, we try, if we do find somebody who is an individual, we try and steer them towards perhaps a certain association or a forum or a cooperative to join. So if members would like to, we don't want to close anyone out, they are more than welcome, Chair, to contact our secretariat, and we can work with them in terms of finding, you know, an association that, you know, that they can belong to, in order to make sure that they also form part of us as SAFEs. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you very much, Sepiso. Meaning, send that number to Mandy, the secretary of the caucus, so that Mandy can disseminate that number or the information to the members of this caucus. Thank you very much. Honorable members, we now release the department in order to get the next presentation. You are released, and wish you all the best in your discussion with the minister and whoever, because we don't want to see or to leave other women out of this. Let's go all out and make sure that it's known to all women out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable members, we're now going to get our second briefing on the current legal and regulatory framework governing the taxation of deceased estate or the inheritance by the National Treasury. National Treasury, it's led by Nhlanhla and Ms. Van Niekerk.
Okay, thank you so much, Chair, and good day, members, and would like to take you through the progress made on the taxation of a surviving spouse when the surviving spouse is receiving more than one income. With me, I'm with Male van Niekerk, who will take us through the taxation part. I'm also with Zalisile Nzala, and as well as my colleagues from SARS, who are led by Mark Kingon. There's also Nathi Ngele and Ronel Mose. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Over to you, Male.
Thank you very much, Nhlanhla, and good morning, honorable members. I think maybe it's useful to start by just describing the problem as we understand it.
Mali,
okay. Yes?
can you please show your face before
Oh,
you continue?
I apologize.
Then we'll switch it off later for us to see the person who is addressing us.
I apologize.
Oh,
Good morning, honorable members.
Morning.
I apologize. Okay, I'll switch off just because bandwidth might become a problem because I'm also sharing my screen, but if need be, I can switch on again.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with a short summary just of what the problem is that we encountered and that this work has been trying to solve. What sometimes happens is that when a partner passes away and the surviving spouse receives access to that deceased partner's pension, what can happen in some cases is that this person now receives two incomes and they are taxed on both incomes, as is usual in our system. And then sometimes, if not enough tax is withheld by a retirement fund or an employer, because they are not aware of the second income, and so they apply the normal tax rules, the normal tax tables. They also apply the rebates, which means that too little tax on both sides, which can mean that too little tax is paid during the year. And then at the end of the year, the surviving spouse has a very big tax bill that comes as a surprise to them. That is the problem that we were trying to solve. I see that there's a hand raised. Chair, I don't know if it means that I have a question to answer. I'll be led by you.
I think this is a legacy and for Honorable
okay.
Tagokwai. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is not a problem. I'll continue with the presentation then. Okay. So in 2019, the budget review contained a proposal to try and solve this problem. We wanted to make sure that we can alleviate the burden where people suddenly get the surprise of a big tax bill when they receive more than one income. And at the time, the first option that was considered was not to take the rebates into account, which would be a partial solution, but it would mean that at least one of the retirement funds that pay out the benefits would then not apply the rebates. But that would not have solved the problem of people who are suddenly in a higher tax rate bracket and then come to the end of the year, they get a big tax surprise. So stakeholders at that point in time requested us to delay the implementation of this proposal. And there was a lot of engagement also through the finance committees of Parliament with different stakeholders to understand the problem, number one, but also understand potential solutions. And then our amendment came into effect in 2022, and that is what we will report on and give you progress on. Okay. The first question you may have is, why do we tax survivor pension benefits? And we have to look at the basic principles of our tax system to explain that. So for any of our retirement funds that we put away for when we become older, we have the same tax design for all of these types of funds. And the way that there's a fairness principle, which is the first principle that we follow, which is that we can only tax income once. So either we tax everything up front, or we tax everything when it's paid out and when the recipient has the money in their hand and they can actually pay taxes. And South Africa follows a principle where when you put money away for retirement as a contribution to a retirement fund, that is deductible for tax purposes, which means that we don't tax it at that point. While the money stays in the fund, we also don't tax it. Number one, because it is not yet available to the person who is the member of the fund, but also because we want to make sure that there's maximal growth of the retirement contribution in the fund. Then, whenever it is paid out to the member of the retirement fund, whether it is as an early lump sum withdrawal, whether it is on a retirement lump sum, or whether it is as a benefit in retirement, or in this case, as a beneficiary of someone's retirement fund, that is the point when the income becomes taxable. Tax people call this the EET system, which means that it is exempt as a contribution. It is exempt while it is growing in the fund. It is only taxed when it comes out of the retirement fund. Then all the income that an individual receives is put together in calculating what the tax should be for that person. So our tax system as a whole has a number of exclusions and thresholds that we apply to get to taxable income. And then because we have a progressive system, which we believe is the correct system for a country of high inequality like ourselves, it means that if you have higher income, you pay higher taxes. Now, the progressivity goes together with this principle that all income must be included, because if people can hide income, then it means that the progressivity of our system suffers. So we have a principle for everyone. All income must be included, and that is what we then apply the tax rates on. So the progressivity through the rate structure is also supported by the age-related rebates. So the minister announced the tax announcements in the budget during the last month. And the tax thresholds themselves are related to the secondary, well, the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary rebates. And what that does is it says there's a basic level of income at which we do not apply tax, and that level increases as people age. So by the time that people become 65, that threshold is higher. And by the time that people become 75, it is even higher. So those are the main mechanisms to alleviate tax for anyone, particularly people in retirement. And that is how their tax rates are determined. What we're trying to do with the system as a whole is to make sure that people who are in similar circumstances pay a similar level of tax. So if they are the same age and they have a similar income, then they pay more or less the same tax. If we weren't to include all of the different income, it becomes much easier to hide income. The reason why I'm saying this is because widows with survivor benefits are not the only taxpayers which have multiple sources of income. Lots of people have, say, for instance, employment income with a little bit of business income. Or they have two jobs, so two different employers, two sources of employment income. Or say, for instance, people who have more than one pension fund. All of that must be put together to get to the right level of income. There are also people who are, the word we use is semi-retired. They are still working a little bit, but they've started to draw some of their pension down. So they will also have two sources of income. Because these people all have a similar set of circumstances, we must treat them similarly to ensure that there's fairness in the system as a whole. So what did we do to alleviate and make sure that people don't have this big surprise at the end of the tax year? It helps to understand what the pay-as-you-earn system tries to do. So the PAYE system is there to withhold taxation as people receive income throughout the year so that they don't have a big burden at the end of the year. So for employees like myself, it means that every time that my salary is paid, tax is automatically deducted already by my employer and paid over to SARS on my behalf, so that when I get to the end of the year, most of my taxes are already paid. If more was withheld than what I owe to SARS, then it means I get a refund. If less was withheld than what I owe to SARS, then it means that I have to pay in extra. Now, if for instance, a pension fund is not aware of a second income, then what they would do is they would apply the tax tables as it is, including all the rebates, but only for that income that they are aware of. And then if two funds are doing this, they may not know that these incomes actually need to be added together in order to withhold the right amount. So at the end of the year, too little may have been deducted on behalf of the fund member, and then a big amount becomes due. So we try to think what the possible solutions could be. There's always been the solution where the fund member could ask the retirement fund to please withhold more tax. And some people obviously did that, but that means that people have to then take the active step of asking. When the retirement funds would indicate that there's no way for them to know that this person may have this need. And then we took another look at who may have some information to help. And that would be, in this case, the Revenue Service. So the solution that has been put in place is that the Revenue Service, who can see all the different sources of income of this retiree, can then give the exact rate at which tax must be withheld to the retirement fund so that the correct amount is withheld right from the start. And this was done through an amendment, a legislative amendment in the Income Tax Act in paragraph 22B of the fourth schedule. And it was effective from the 1st of March, 2022. So if we look at this problem from the perspective of the fund member themselves, if they see that their circumstances are such that they need a different type of arrangement, that they don't want this automatic rate which SARS provides to the retirement fund, then they can opt out. They never lose that option. But then they run the risk that they are going to have a very big tax payment due at the end of the year. So we certainly don't recommend that to most members because it is actually a very big cash flow problem for a lot of people. If the system is allowed to work in this way, it means that the burden on the taxpayer is quite low. They don't have to do anything from their side unless they feel that it would serve their interests better to opt out. Taxpayers can, in fact, always request a retirement fund or an employer to withhold more tax during the year, and then it minimizes the impacts at the end of the year. For a lot of people, the problem that came out is that these large amounts accrued year after year, and they ended up with a big tax debt. And we would suggest that the best thing to do in those circumstances would be for the taxpayer to approach SARS in order to find a solution to settle the debt. We cannot advocate blanket amnesties in the first place because it sets a precedent for other taxpayers, but also because it influences the future behavior of taxpayers. And South Africa as a whole gains when taxpayers are complying voluntarily with obligations, and when we build on our tax morale, the willingness to pay tax. And then as a final note, in cases where the tax debt has accrued, National Treasury does not become involved. With individual taxpayer matters, that is also a matter of principle. What happens between the taxpayer and SARS is protected by secrecy provisions in the Tax Administration Act. So National Treasury never becomes involved in those cases. What we can do is give advice if you find yourself, or if someone should find themselves in this situation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nhlanhla.
Thank you very much, Ms. Vanika. Is there something that you need to add, Nhlanhla?
No, thank you so much. No, nothing to add.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, this is the presentation about the taxation of surviving spouse. Any clarity seeking questions? Any comment? Or the presentation was straightforward that we understand?
It was a straightforward presentation, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
No, Chair.
Honorable Mat.
No, Chair. No, Chair. It's not that it is straightforward, Chair. It's just that the taxation laws are very limiting in that we find it difficult to engage on this matter because you are told that this is law, so those who are earning more must. I was not intending to open any video. Those who are earning more must be taxed more. And now, when whoever started that, I know are lawmakers who might be seen are taking the laws that we've passed. Whoever is earning more must be taxed more. And now, the unfortunate part is that these spouses passed on. It's me now that is there. Then I get taxed when I have the responsibility of the entire family to take care of. Some of the defaults of the previous of the past person, I did not even know about them, but I get penalized. I think we are quiet here because we really can't plug in this thing, because who suffers the most? It becomes women who suffer the most out of this. And this presentation, unfortunately, is not meant to advise us on which clauses of this tax act should be amended, because that's what we could do. Maybe we need to engage on another different process altogether. The presentation is fine, but the presentation is coined within the ambit of the current tax laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief Whip. I see now there are two other hands. Honorable Abrams.
Yes, Chair, thank you so much. I just wish to thank the presenter who has just made the presentation on taxation of the remaining spouse. It is very difficult to keep quiet on the matter, although you get bogged down to the complications of individual spouses. Like the chief whip has indicated that some were earning more than others. However, having said that, the spouses have common grievances, for example, in terms of taxation. And it ranges from an ordinary civil servant, for example, to a member of parliament. Just to quote examples of cases that I have interacted with. Chair, the first question is the gross taxation of the spouse's income goes to a point where sometimes the spouses even offer to just give up on the salary of the spouse, because rather than bring the resources that are wanted at the time, it brings even more complications to the resources that are not even there for the spouses. And in some cases, you find that for the spouse's salary, the widows are taxed even more than they themselves are taxed for their own salaries as widows. So there is a lot that the widows are crying foul over. And the question is there some rebate that is granted to the widows of the deceased, whether it is proportional according to what they earn or equal across? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Abrams. Honorable Ntuli.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, I think, Chairperson, the Chief Whip was correct. I wanted to echo what the Chief Whip was saying, to say it's not that the presentation is straightforward. If I may say, this is a very painful presentation. In my previous life, when I was the woman, the chairperson of the Women's Caucus, I once worked with the widows who were crying foul. I even invited the Minister of Finance at that time. It was Minister Nene. And when Minister Nene was addressing those widows, he said, no, it's the law and I can't bend the law. I understand the pain that you are going through. You see, sometimes you would find that the widow will get the benefits this year, and SARS will come 2-3 years later to tax that benefit. And that time you'll be told that they are on the edge of losing the house, they are on the edge of losing this and that, and some would be attacked by strokes, and so on and so forth. In a nutshell, Chair, the meeting, I wanted to echo the Chief Whip when she was saying it's not that it's straightforward. It's because we don't know what to say, because we've been dealing with these things. You went to master and you will come back to master, and it's like this. It's like this. It's very painful. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ntuli. I just want to check with Mr. Ntlantla and Ms. Van Niekerk. The chief, we praised something to say, we know that we are lawmakers, but is there any clause maybe that we can be advised to say this clause, if you can amend it, maybe it can ease the pain that the survivor spouse are going through? If there is that clause that maybe we can amend, it might be not now, but in future, in order to ease the pain that which is there for the survivor spouse. Thank you very much. Is there any other hand, or I give to National Treasury to respond? Oh, Honorable Velma. Honorable Druhan.
Yes. Sorry, Honorable Chair. Good day to everyone on the platform. Thank you for this presentation. I was thinking how I would ask this question, so bear with me, please. The surviving spouse, the surviving spouse, you have the two sides. So the one side, maybe the surviving spouse is still working or earning an income, right? So that's the one side. And then the other side where the spouse is not working, okay, stays at home, doesn't work. Okay, so now the spouse passes away, and like for me personally, right, I would prefer that before the spouse passes away, the pension that they receive has already been taxed, okay? So that the surviving spouse does not have to sit with the big debt for the tax to SARS. So I'm curious if that happens. And then now what I'm curious about, if there's a difference in the amount between the surviving spouse who's working and earning an extra income or a second income, and then the spouse who is not working and has no other income, is there a difference in how much tax will be deducted from the surviving spouse after their partner passes away? I'm just curious because, the surviving spouse is then left with the huge tax bill if the pension if tax has not been deducted from that pension. So before it is paid, if the tax is then deducted before it's paid, so that the spouse doesn't have that huge debt. I hope I'm clear. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. You were clear. Is there any other hand? I don't see any hand here. Mr. Ntlantla.
Ma'am. I think to start answering some of the questions, I think my colleagues are also going to come in now. I think one of the key issues that maybe those women that possibly are in debt and they still have a SARS debt, we still encourage them to go to SARS and then explain and try and see if they can't reach some sort of a compromise with respect to debt, and how will that debt going to be paid, I think, going forward. And then maybe the other issue as well was some suggestion as well from Mam Velma now that came in, so to say, some sort of a lump sum tax, maybe, of taxing this lump sum at the end. Maybe it's also another way forward, Ma'am Chairperson, is that maybe if then the committee can then maybe send some recommendations to us to have a look again to see maybe if we can still have some sort of engagement in the future. I think maybe that can also assist us. I think I will leave it to some of my colleagues as well to come in with respect to any of other questions that have been raised at the moment. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Fanica?
Thank you, Chair. Let me just switch my camera on this time. I think maybe part of the question here depends on what people choose. So I think losing a spouse is incredibly painful. Unfortunately, in that time, there's also a lot of administration and a lot of decisions that are made that could have consequences that the spouse is not aware of. There is a lot of information available on what happens with taxation when a death occurs on SARS's website, and I would definitely encourage anyone to use that as the first source of information. The reason why I'm saying this is because what can happen is that the beneficiary doesn't necessarily have to take the pension as a benefit immediately. They could also choose to defer it. So say, for instance, in the case of the example that Honourable Neo Druchen had of comparing the spouse that is working or not working. In the case of a spouse that doesn't have a source of income, I would assume in many cases the natural choice would then be to receive their spouse's pension benefits as their main source of income, in which case they would be taxed as normal. In fact, if that was the only source of income in the household, the tax burden would also be quite similar. In the case of someone the surviving spouse that may still be working, it may be in their best interest to continue working and then not draw on that pension quite yet. So I think tax is one aspect here, but we always have tax consequences based on it's an outcome of a number of decisions that are taken jointly. If that means that we need better advice for people, then that is a financial sector conduct matter, which we can certainly relay to our colleagues who work on that. But in many cases, it may be the better option for the surviving spouse not to draw on the pension immediately. If that can be possible. In cases where they may need a lump sum, perhaps it is useful that I indicate that part of our two-parts reform on retirement is about having more flexibility in the system for times of need, and maybe that can also assist in a way that means that lump sum requirement can be met in a different way than drawing down the spousal pension that they become entitled to. I hope this helps. It is the one thing that I could think of that I didn't mention so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see another hand. Is it Musehane and Mark
Yes,
King on? Okay, I think you're from SARS.
yes.
Okay.
Good morning, honorable members. My name is Tonel Mosehane from SARS. I just wanted to add to what my colleagues have said, to say that we do sympathize with the issues that is being raised. As a woman myself, I can understand. It is very painful to lose your spouse, and there's a lot of uh, decisions that you have to make and a lot of emotional issues that you have to deal with. And most people do not understand tax laws. And when you get a letter from SARS demanding large sums of money which you do not have, it just adds to that stressful situation. So we do understand that and we do sympathize with that. So what we're saying is that in order to resolve that issue, we say for the past debts, these letters that you get from SARS with these huge debts and you don't know what to do, what we're saying is that you can approach SARS and say, this is where I am. I have this large tax debt that you are raising in terms of this letter. I cannot afford to pay it. This is my financial circumstances. What can you do to assist me? SARS will then look at your circumstances, your financial issues, and then make a decision in consultation with you. That is how we can resolve. And some of the solutions involve writing off the debt depending on each taxpayer's financial circumstances. That is what we're offering as a solution. So we are hearing that, and that solution has been there for a long time. So that is the solution in terms of the debts that are due that distress members. But going forward, we said we need to have a solution that avoid this issue. And the solution was, and it also answers the question that was raised by another honorable member to say, what about upfront taxation so that when the money reaches me as the spouse that is surviving, I do not have to pay this tax, because I understand when you receive the money and you don't understand tax laws, you use the money. So it's a surprise to get the letter to say you must pay tax. So you expect that the money that you receive has already been taxed. So what we're saying is that then we want to change our laws to make sure that the retirement funds, the pension funds where this spousal pension is coming from, understands the correct tax rate which they must use to deduct the tax before it reaches you. So that is the solution that we're now talking about, to say we have changed our laws so that when you receive your money, it is correct at the right, it is taxed at the right rate, and you do not have this large debts. So I hope that perhaps goes to some extent to answer the concerns that you have, honorable members. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much for that explanation. There were two hands. I can't see that other one.
Chair, it's Mark King, and I did
Oh,
lower
Mark,
my hand
yes.
because I think my colleague Renelle did deal with it correctly. There's two aspects, though, maybe just to clarify. There's the current old debt where we see many people struggling, and obviously potential future debts. So both need to be looked at. But I would just urge that people who are in this position to please approach SARS and don't leave it, because that's where the challenges come about, as my colleague has indicated. But thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that clarity. Honorable members, do we still have something to raise with the National Treasury? I don't
Chair.
see.
Chair.
Oh, Chief Whip.
Yes, Chair, I suggest that we must have this item on the implications of this to widows, as we have already said, and we invite the committee on finance, the committee on appropriation, so that we discuss and lift this clause that make us to be where we are. We're not running away from paying tax. Neither we discourage anyone not to pay tax. But when it comes to me who has lost a spouse, I have debts that I have to settle. Then, SARS is not user-friendly to anyone.
Yes.
I don't know whether SARS is a man or a woman. I don't know. But it's something that you fear, all of us. Once SARS send you a letter of demand, they don't want to listen to stories. If you don't, they go on their own in your bank and leave you with zero balance. I think there is a way that we have to take up this matter and say, which clauses are these? What can be done on this so as to balance things? But as it stands, it works to the disadvantage of those widows. But you may not blame SARS. You may blame the person who has not paid tax. But I think we have to strike a balance in one way or the other. We are SARS. Thank you.
No, thank you very much. You are spot on. I don't think there is somebody who doesn't fear after receiving the letter from SARS. And the only thing you have in mind is that now they're going to take everything that I have. But thank you very much for your advice. I think we need also to write it on our legacy report or to recommend that maybe, because I don't think we'll have time now, but if we do have time, it means we'll meet with the Appropriations and Finance Committee in order to present this for us and raise the issues, the concerns that we have, then for them to advise as to where can we adjust or where can we amend the clauses in order at least to ease the pain or the frustration that the widows have. I don't think there is other hands after this. Oh, I can see two now. Honorable Tabalala, then SARS will come last.
Right. Thank you so much, Mane Pilankulu, and good afternoon to everybody on the platform. I think for me, trying to follow this discussion and what is there, what lacks is this issue of ombudsman and, when you talk about master and all of that, there's education around it, because usually when you deal
Honorable Chabalala, we're losing you.
matters when they come, that we need to take them such that they have a lived experience. It's important sometimes you can be treasury and be somewhere else, but when you're on the ground and you deal with these matters, it's a total different story. Perhaps an element of information sharing and really interacting with those that would have lived the experience, and we are able to put it within this and to say this was the lived experience of such and this what would have transpired. Many widows end up not even having anything to don't even follow up and all of that, and information, it's always an issue. Access, going to this masters, doing that and that. There should be an element of trying to have people that are dedicated to resolve such matters, so that you don't have a treasury that says, I'm sure they can go to SARS. You know how complicated those things ought to be. Today, SARS, you interact with it over an email. And there's no one that you speak to directly. So you can imagine for our own people. But I'm just thinking, I'm just throwing in there. I don't know where would it be located at what point, but I think it's something that we need to be considerate of. The risk this touches the vulnerable, especially the women, and I agree with that. Let me leave it at that. But I thought, let me just add my 2 cents contribution if relevant. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sabalala. SARS.
Before that, Chair.
Oh, okay. I thought it's a legacy, and my darling. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, thanks so much,
Honorable
Chair.
Maton.
Yes. Before that, Chair, maybe if SARS could also respond to the fact that the taxation of the remaining spouse happens only at the end of the financial year rather than on a monthly basis. If it happens on a monthly basis, it becomes even more than the actual tax that is done at the end of the financial year. If SARS can speak to that a bit as well. Otherwise, Chair, so that I don't speak again, I agree with you that in the legacy report, we need to have this in. But maybe before the proposal that the chief whip has made, for example, but we first proposed that the multi-party women's caucus meets with these widows, because these widows have structures all over the provinces, including national. So maybe we, as the women's caucus of the time, of course, meet with them so that we have a thorough understanding of the challenges that they have, and then we interact with the finance committees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. That's a good suggestion. SARS.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to respond on the issue of SARS being scary. And I can say that even if I'm a SARS employee myself, I experience the same anxiety when I receive a SARS letter. It's a funny one, and my colleagues can laugh at me, but I fully understand that sentiment. And I think in terms of how can we then alleviate that anxiety? We are looking at, I think my colleague Mark has indicated to us that we used to have a system where we had a contact person, which then surviving spouses can then contact to deal with the issue. Then you would have a situation where someone is more sympathetic because they're dealing with a specific taxpayer with specific circumstances, instead of treating that person as an ordinary taxpayer. So we're looking at perhaps reactivating that, where perhaps in each region our taxpayers can then have a contact person to address this issue. But it's something that we'll have to look at, that we're considering coming out of this discussion. And in terms of the issue that was raised by Honorable Member Abraham, in terms of taxing the right amount, it goes back to that solution that I explained, to say we have then amended our legislation to make sure that we direct the pension funds, the retirement funds in general, to deduct or withhold tax at the correct amount, considering all the income that goes to the surviving spouse, so that we do not have the surviving spouse having this large tax debt at the end of the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any other hand? I don't want to close. Meanwhile, there are members who still want to understand or to say something. Is there any hand?
Manimpilekulu, I'm sorry, I didn't do the hand, but I want to support what Comrade Abrams has spoken to about having and calling and discussing with his spouses. Thank you so much. I will support you.
Thank you very much. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, we think about such things. Thank you very much, National Treasury. May the Lord of Peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. You are excused.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, I think we are done with our meeting. The items that were there in the agenda, it was 2. We are still going to. Yes, thank you, Mandy. We are still going to meet on the 28th as the full caucus, where we are going to adopt our legacy report. The steering committee is still going to meet. I think it on the 22nd. And tomorrow is an International Women's Day. As a caucus, we prepared the statement that will release tonight. And without wasting much time, honorable members, thank you very much for coming and for your participation. Let's make sure that time and again, we participate for the sake of winning or trying to find solutions of the issues that are before us as women, or some that are hindrances to us as women. And thank you very much for those who are participating. Thank you very much for those who were here. I know someone might be having some commitment elsewhere, but it's good sometimes for all of us to participate. There are a lot of issues that women and children are facing. So if we are here, it's good to participate and also to come out with items or issues that need to be discussed in future with this caucus. It's for all of us. It's not for the chairperson. It's not for the steering committee, but for all of us to bring forth something that we need. It's burning for us as women to deliberate on it. Thank you very much. The meeting adjourned.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Long live the Chair.
Malibongwe.
Igama lamakhosikazi.
Elama girls.
Hey, igama lama girls.
Yes.
Elama girls, I like it.
Asikuki phela manje. Phindele emuva.
Mamzungu.
Yes, that is.
How are you?
I'm fine, to and you?
It's hot
Yeah,
in Limpopo. Too hot.
Eh? Too
It's
much.
too hot in Limpopo.
Eh, nada liapho. Yeah, nada liapho. It's not by election. Hey, capet. But we can, yeah, so we now got.
Let's soldier on.